What's up guys, this is Miasin. So I just wanted to make a quick little video just to show you guys a bunch of cards that are going to be very relevant once we're going to be getting crossover breakers, as well as the next core set, which is Supreme Darkness, and something else, Maze of the Master, there you go, which I think both are kind of like in February. So that month will be packed with a lot of new cards that will completely change the game, especially 7 Tachyon. That card is huge. That's the one that you can see right here. But in the meantime, the crossover breaker set, which introduces Ryzeal as well as Malice, is still very relevant, and we still have to prep for it, which is the reason why I'm bringing you this video, so that you know what to buy right now and you know what to be on the lookout for. But before we go any further, friendly reminder of course to smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And huge shoutouts to my sponsors, Inspire TCG as well as Dueling. They are back with their Invincible Idol and True Bankai collection, so please check them out and use the coupon code YASIN656 for 5% off. The link will be in the description box below, and with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, the Malice deck is a deck that banishes a lot, so just like Ritual Beast, it loses very hard to Chaos Hunter and Artifact Lancia, and also this deck can play Shifter, and even Ryzeal can play Shifter. As a matter of fact, Shifter is going to be everywhere to the point where Shifter is going to be nowhere, just because everybody can play Shifter, therefore Shifter is no longer really good. It's way too easy to play. But if you want to play the exact opposite of Shifter, these are the two cards that are closest to them. Chaos Hunter is a little neggy because you do have to discard a card to summon it, and Artifact Lancia can only be used on your opponent's turn, but Artifact Lancia is eventually going to become much better because you can search it out with 7 Tachyon by revealing either the Archfiend Seraph or the Ragna Infinity. Both of these monsters are rank 5, number 101 between 107 fairy monsters. So yeah, fantastic hand traps, really recommend. Anyways, Dimensional Barrier, very good card against Ryzeal, so obviously this card is going to be everywhere. Even if you don't want to play the card, you at least have to play it as a one-of in the Ryzeal deck with 3 crossouts. Book of Eclipse, very good card against the Ryzeal deck. It shuts down almost every single one of their interruptions because for the field spell, they have to control at least one face-up Ryzeal Xyz monster so that they can, negate something. If everything is face down, they can't detach from any Ryzeal Xyz monster they control. The trap card is also shut down because they won't have any face-up Ryzeal monsters. The detonator is not going to be relevant, but they can still destroy their own detonator with their own detonator, and then they can go plug, revive back the detonator, and that still guarantees them 2 interruptions through Book of Eclipse. So honestly, watch out for that, but apart from that, Book of Eclipse is absolutely fantastic. Ultimate Slayer is better if your opponent has a plug, and Book of Eclipse is better if your opponent has the whole thruster. So it really does depend on which second card they choose to search with the Duo Drive, since the first one will always be the field spell. You may not necessarily understand what I'm trying to say right now, but in a couple of weeks, the Ryzeal deck is going to be so prominent that you will definitely understand what this really means. But just keep an eye out on Book of Eclipse and Ultimate Slayer because these are, hands down, the best board breakers against Ryzeal. It's not even remotely close. Book of Eclipse, at least you can main deck because you can also use the card defensively. For other hand traps, you can play the Cockroach monster, so Retailing Sea is very good in Ryzeal because it's a level 4, so obviously you're hurting your opponent and you're also helping yourself out. But Flying Sea as well as Contact Sea are also really good cards, and you can search both of them with Retailing Sea. Not necessarily that it matters, but Flying Sea and Retailing Sea, use both of them against your opponent's Ryzeal deck, and it's really gonna hurt because the only thing that they can summon is Dawn or Dagger for higher, and that's really gonna put like a dent in their play. So yeah, if you can resolve one of these cockroaches against the Ryzeal deck, especially where it hurts, when they're locked under not being able to summon non-rank 4 Xyz monsters, kind of just lose the game. So I really think that these hand traps are insane. Some other traps that are really good against the Ryzeal deck would be Mischief of the Gnomes. You can send this with like Foolish Burial Goods or discard this off of anything, and the graveyard effect is kind of like a D-bear against them because it will reduce the level of all monsters in each player's hand by 1 even after they were normal summoned. It really is a major inconvenience. Your opponent would have to go like special summon 2 monsters from the deck in order to dodge this card, which is really, basically just impossible to do. Anyway, Stygian Dirge is also very similar, but it only really affects the monsters that are on the field, and it's a continuous effect, so it can get negated by the aggregator that can be sent by the X-Ryzeal. So you would have to watch out for that. Stygian Dirge is not necessarily safe, but it is permanent, whereas Mischief of the Gnomes is very safe. It will absolutely resolve. It only lingers for 1 turn. However, you have the usage of Mischief of the Gnomes twice if you draw it, and if you mill it, then you have it once, but it's still an extremely good card. Probably a little better than Black Goat Laughs moving forward. It's also an extremely good triple tactic thrust target, so again, if you can get your hands on triple tactic thrust from the reprint set of the Quarter Century Bonanza, that's gonna be great for you. Anyways, moving forward to the Ryzeal deck, there are a lot of really nice engines that you can play because it's a rank 4 turbo deck, so any engine that allows you to spam some rank 4s, that would be nice. So the Primate engine, very good. You can use the Lorely Low to search the Roar, and then they can search your special summon either the Megalo Smasher or the Evil Storm Iliotrope, and then you can use the effective low to summon the other one that you're missing. So if you had like the first Megalo Smasher, you summon the second one, and then you can make an Evilzord Dolka, or you can summon a second Heliotrope and then make an Evolsorb Ophion. Ophion is a great card. Dolka can negate monster effects not once per turn, and you can also summon Evilzord Lagia. Evilzord Dolka can obviously not negate Nibiru, because if you use the Lordly Lode's effective special summon, you can't use the effective special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. So in order to beat Nibiru, you would have to rely on the field spell, the Ryzeal Cross. Another engine that you can play would be the Melodious engine. So Atinado is gas for days. Everybody knows this. You activate this, and then you send like double refrain. You summon the Baka, you special summon the third refrain. That searches you your couplet, and then you activate that, and then you search your concerto whatever, and then you fuse again, and then you just do a bunch of things. It makes a rank 4 and much more, and it doesn't even take up your normal summons. So it's an engine that does literally everything you can ask for with one single Atinado, and even a refrain on its own is very, very good. So honestly, I really recommend that package. I think it's really nice. It can definitely get you places, but it also introduces a lot of bricks to your deck, and maybe potentially too many normal summons. I don't know if you really should be playing this engine in Ryzeal, but you should definitely test it out and just see what it looks like. And finally, the 7th Tachyon, as well as 7th Ascension. At least you can buy 7th Ascension right now. This card in the future will be able to search 7th Tachyon, but this card is coming out in Maze of the Master, again, which is coming out in February. And the best replacement for it at the current moment would be Small World. If you want consistency, there's Small World and Pot of Prosperity. Or you can also do Pot of Desires. And of course, Bonfire is another consistency card for the Ryzeal deck that you can get your hands on right now. But again, it is also getting reprinted in the Bonanza set. And for the Malice deck, it's a little obvious as well, because there's not a lot of cards that currently exist that you can really get for Malice, but you can still get like Dogscaper and Code of Souls, Cyanide Mining, Gold Sarcophagus. I would actually buy 3 copies of this card if I were you, because I think there is a world in which this card gets semi-limited and then unlimited. It would be support both for Malice and for Thunder Dragon, and Thunder Dragon Colossus randomly like got to 2 last ban list, so maybe that could make sense. And also in the OCG, Gold Sark is a 2, so Allure of Darkness, you also want to consider playing 3 copies of this card in Malice. It's not too bad. And the Bisol Engine, you want to get a lot of them. You want to get 3 Lubellion with a Regained, because I think it's really good in the Malice deck. And in the OCG, even without Regained and with only 1 of each Bestiole, they are still considering playing the Lubellion. That's just to give you an idea of how good the card is. And again, Lubellion is at 1, and they're still playing it with no Regained. Anyways, for the extra deck cards that you definitely need to get your hands on, there are like 20 here, because, I mean, not really 20, but you get the point. There's a lot of cards that you really should be buying right now if you plan on playing Ryzeal. And even if you don't want to play Ryzeal, some of these cards are still really good for you. Aggregator is a perfect example, because as a Ryzeal player, you're going to need 1 to 2 copies, and if you don't play the deck, you still need 1 copy for Ultimate Slayer, because like I said, you're sending an Xyz monster, you're bouncing back an Xyz, and then your Aggregator negates the field spell. Full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer is a very good card in the Ryzeal deck. That's how you can get a lot of damage in. Speaking of damage in, you can OTK using, I believe, only 2 rank 4 monsters, Gagagax Samurai and Dugaris the Timeless. So this card, it's 3,800 damage on its own, it's 19 multiplied by 2. And Dugaris would double the attack of your Gagaga Samurai, so you become 38 multiplied by 2, so that's 76. With the 12 from the Dugaris, so that should be 88. Using 4 level 4 monsters, which is kind of a lot, but whatever. It's still something, it's still somewhat doable. For the other cards that you might still want to play, Malevolent Sin, that's a solid card in the OCG, they're playing it. It's kind of like the Onimaru, the Soul Sweeper, that people have been playing the Sprite deck. Light Dragon Adignister, very good card as well. It's the worst version of Detonator, so it's not always going to be summoned, but when you have the Field Spell and Detonator, you can't summon a second Detonator. So you would summon Light Dragon Adignister. It not only protects your monsters, but also can destroy a monster upon controls, and it does not target. Tornado Dragon, great card, and in the OCG, they're destroying their own artifact Scythe with Tornado that they can search with the 7th Tachyon by revealing either Archfiend Seraph or Ragna Infinity. In the TCG, you can go Artifact Dagda, set the Lancia, and then Tornado Dragon destroy the Lancia, so that's another play that you could maybe do, but you don't necessarily have to unless everybody's playing evenly matched, which, by the way, is a very good board breaker against the Ryzeal deck, but very bad against Malice. Not a single board breaker is good against Malice, by the way. Hand traps, though, are very good against the deck. Well, not all of them, but a bunch of them. Definitely not Bestioles, obviously. They want a Bestiole themselves. Anyways, we got Baguska, of course. That is a very good rank 4, but everybody has it. Castel, you might have not seen this card in a while. Traptrix or Flesia, very good card with the Gravedigger's Trap Hole and the Ryzeal Hole Thruster. So there's 2 whole normal trap cards that you can play in the Ryzeal deck, and you can send both of them with Traptrix or Flesia. And this card is also unaffected by trap effects, which is very, very relevant. And finally, Gagaga Samurai, as well as Dugaris the Timeless. I've already talked about Artifact Dagda. It also so it makes a lot of sense considering the fact that Artifact Lancia is a card that you can set, but it's not that insane. It's not like the Artifact Scythe, for example. Evozor Dolka or Lagia, Evoswarm Ophion because of the Primate Engine for either Megalo Smasher or Dinosaur Monster, or the Evoswarm Heliotrope. Utopia double with Utopia and double or nothing if you want to kill your opponents using only 2 level 4 monsters, but then your opponent has to have a monster with 2000 or less attack, and it has to be an attack, and you gotta attack it and hope that your opponent has no form of interruptions whatsoever. And finally, the cards that you might want to just buy right now just so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Battling Boxer, Star Cestus, and Star Seraph Sentry, and obviously the Archfiend Seraph or the Ragna Infinity. None of these monsters you will ever summon, and you need either one or the other of these two, and then you need both of them because they are reveal fodder for 7 Tachyon, just so that you can search either a Fire Thunder by revealing Battling Boxer Star Cestus, or a Light Thunder by searching, or Light Pyro, sorry, by revealing the Star Seraph Sentry, because that's a rank 4 light, and this is a rank 4 fire. So you can search a fire, level 4, and a level 4 light, level 5 light or fairy, and a level 5 water or fairy. There you go, that's how it works. Kind of comparable to Small World. I mean, it's more or less similar, but you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.